democracies, the Office of National Security Advisor, an advisor is an advisor, works at the helm, at the fiat of the president, at the pleasure of the president. So consequently, Honorable Speaker, cannot be legislated. Let those one work as they are. Honorable Speaker, of course, the most damaging amendment to this particular bill is now the creation of the Office of Head of Public Service. Honorable Speaker, and when you look at the provisions that the jobs, the duties have been assigned as the bill here, one of them is to be the administrative head of the executive office of the president, which again is not an office defined in the Constitution. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, the decisions of the president, as contemplated in Article 135, are supposed to be in writing and shall bear the seal and signature of the president. That is so instructive that, Honorable Speaker, the nation of Kenya, the people of Kenya, should not lose sight of. At no any time was there any contemplation that somebody else will write on behalf of the president and sign any document for the functions bestowed on the president on behalf of the president. Article 135 has been very clear on the signature and the communication coming from the president. It has been anomaly all along that we find quite a number of pronouncements that touch on the core mandate of the office of the president, the presidency, the president, signed by any other person other than the president. Honorable Speaker, if indeed the head of the public service serves at the pleasure of the president, as indicated in this bill, that position therefore, Honorable Speaker, cannot be a state office, as defined under Article 260. That becomes an errand boy of the president to serve at the pleasure of the president. Any incoming administration ought to have and will always have a different style of executing their mandate, of running their government. Saddling them with an office created by an act of parliament that is unconstitutional, Honorable Speaker, is essentially tying the hands of the new administration that could have otherwise wanted to do things in a completely different manner. Honorable Speaker, in the wildest dream, why would any drafter, how would a sponsor of a bill of such a magnitude indicate, Honorable Speaker, that the head of the public service, shall be the custodian of the public seal and any other instruments of state that are not in the custody of any other person? That's where the mischief lies. What mischief do you want to say to do? The office of the president will auction this country because they have the seal, they have the signature. They'll simply auction this country, enter into any businesses without any reference to any other party. Honorable Speaker, the bill before us creates the non-existent office called the Chief Administrative Secretary. And when you go through the duties assigned to the Chief Administrative Secretary, they do not exist in the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, 2010. It's not those, the chief, the office, the executive office consists of the president, the deputy president, and the cabinet secretary. And then the accounting officer becomes the permanent or principal secretary. The question all of us are begging to ask, where does the chief administrative secretary fall in the architecture of the executive? That's the question we are asking. He is neither listed under Article 260 of the Constitution as a state officer. What is it? What is it? Any office created in public service is for the specific function. And that's why, Honorable Speaker, you see when we pass an act of parliament, we state that they will have the following officers. And those officers become officers in the public service. And the Constitution of Kenya is expressly clear what constitutes the public service. Honorable Speaker, If you look at the functions assigned to them, to this office, liaise with the parliament,